Okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for joining us here. This is a virtual public information meeting regarding our Business 151 Highway Safety Program. The idea here is, as many of you know, the project was supposed to have a completion date of tomorrow. And quite obviously, it will not be completed tomorrow. So what we have on here, we have DOT representatives, Mr. Dave Pylon and Mr. Craig Fisher. We have our folks who are the project engineers, John Gantenbein and Brad. Yep, there's Brad still. Me from the city of Platteville, Adam as city manager, and then we have Tim McGuire. He's on the phone right there. He's the prime contractor. We have Wayne Wooders from the Chamber of Commerce. And we have Jim Rosemeyer and Aaron Cullen sitting in as citizen members listening in. I'm not sure who to kick it to first, John or Craig. I'm not sure who to kick this to first, or do we want Tim to?
I can talk if you want. I mean, basically the project was supposed to be done tomorrow, but as everyone can see that it's not. We've been pushing to the last few weeks to get the roadway portion completed because we thought that was very important before winter, because you never know what Mother Nature is going to bring to us. Tim's going to continue pushing until basically he can't go anymore. And the things that will not be done this year are the signals at the 8081 or Water Street intersection and the pedestrian accommodations there. So we have to change, have some curb cuts and stuff like that in there so that basically pedestrians can use that intersection. And then the trail won't be finished this year, but things that we'll be looking for in the next few weeks are we're gonna make sure that everyone has a paved surface driveway for over the winter, and they'll keep plugging on just as long as the weather allows. So we'll be doing certain things just to make sure that the public is safe and for over the winter, so that it's not a big maintenance headache. So, and then we're going to be protecting the environment. We'll be trying to do certain things in order to that in the springtime when the melts come and stuff like that, that we contain the erosion onto the project. So I guess that's kind of a synopsis of what's going to happen. And now the contractor was supposed to be done. They're going to incur what they call liquidated damages until basically he can't continue. And then over the winter, he will not. And that was kind of a thing that we decided because he actually could, it's a completion date contract. He could actually start work right now if he really wanted to at that intersection. But we thought because of the safety of the public that we preferred that he did not start. And so that basically the LDs would not be charged over the winter months if he got all the things done that we wanted, but then they will continue once he gets work started in the spring. So the LDs will continue until basically it's all completed. So
okay,
that's about all I have.
Yeah, just to give everybody a time frame, what are we thinking it will take, once we do this in the spring for that 80-81 intersection. I'd heard, what, 6 to 8 weeks is what we're thinking, or Tim, John?
I just looking, I would think between 4 to 6 weeks to do the intersection. And then the trail, he's got a lot of the pipe work done and stuff. So
Okay,
the trail wouldn't really take a lot. It's just the sanitary sewer that that he has to do for you guys. Sanitary sewer and hydrant adjustments. I would think maybe he might be able to do that after, if he gives a few good, he doesn't really need anything. I mean, there's certain things that he could do that actually he wouldn't be, because it's really not part of our contract. So
True.
it's a contract with you guys in order to, so
Yeah.
it might be best if he does that stuff after we get all this roadway stuff done that we need done,
Of course. Of course.
and then he wouldn't be charged for those days because it's really a contract with you guys to get everything, so if it takes him a couple days or a week or whatever to get the sanitary sewer adjustments and stuff on the trail, I would think that he could do that in December if he really wanted to, that's up to him.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily have to watch that because it's not really part of our, our contract with them. So.
Okay.
Tim, do you have any thoughts on how long you think it might take? Hello, Tim?
Sorry, I did not mute yet. The trail probably 3 weeks, and the electrical and the concrete work down there, I'm not sure. I'll have them pour everything high early so we don't have, lose time on the, while waiting for the cure time and stuff on it. Pick up a couple days each time, so. Hard to say.
Hopefully it goes a lot quicker, and it's actually a less of an inconvenience if he's gonna pour high early strength and stuff. Okay.
Right. It's just,
Yeah. Well, the idea here is that you end up doing one quadrant at a time. So, yeah, more or less. I mean, you might be able to get some things done, but
And
realistically,
there's just 2 quadrants that he has to do, actually rip up pavement in. So it's just on the south side that he's really ripping up. On the north side, we do have to do some curb cuts
Mhm.
in the islands and stuff, so. But it'll impact traffic a little bit, but it's not supposed to, we're not supposed to stop traffic. And that intersection the lights will be shut off and it'll be a 4-way intersection, just like Mineral and East Side were. So people just have to be patient and hopefully that we get through it. And hopefully, since we had that intersection, maybe people will start to avoid it a little bit in order to, they can use the other intersection to, they got to get to work in Madison or whatever,
Yeah.
rather than go the easiest way, maybe they'll go out Mineral Street now, so might be encouraged, to them. So.
Okay. Craig, do you have any comments?
Not sure, is my microphone on?
You're
Yep.
on.
Okay. No additional comments. I think John put together a good summary of what will be done and what will be done next year. So.
Okay. The Highway 81 project is being interrupted for winter as of November 18th, basically mid-November, mostly due to the fact that the asphalt isn't available after that date, I would imagine. I would think that we would be looking to a similar time for stopping work on this one. It may not be the exact same day, but I'm thinking
Mhm.
maybe in that same general time frame, mid-November, for
Mhm.
stopping the work on this project. But we'll look at, what things still need to be done, and, what can be done safely.
I'd also like to add that, Tim, and we'll talk about it, but I mean, we'll have a list together of what things that we need to have done this year. And
Yeah.
if you decide, I mean, we get all this stuff done and say it's just say it's the 15th of November or the 10th of November. If our list is completed, then basically I think that we would either shut off time or let him continue to work. But it would be on stuff that we got to get sewed up, within, a certain amount, like if there's a driveway that he wants to do. But if he can produce that there's, hey, we can get asphalt in here in that time frame before the plant shuts down. Yeah, we can do that driveway, but we got to make sure that it can get done,
That's right.
So it's not like that the 18th could be basically the date that the asphalt, but if he can do more work productively, I
Sure.
would think that we can accommodate, or maybe if he doesn't think he can, and he gets all this list done by, say, the 15th or the 10th or whatever date it is, basically, then we would compile those days into, as far as the LDs go.
Right.
We would keep track of them, is what we're saying. So,
Okay. Okay. Wayne, did you have any comments or questions at this time?
I'm wondering about some of the road signs. There's several that are just sitting in the ditch down here at the chamber, and I'm wondering, are we doing
That's-
anything with signage for this project or,
that's on our list, Wayne. So
okay?
we'll have
And
the
I-
signs.
Okay, and I know that most of the landscaping is done, but nothing's been seeded, I don't believe. Is that going to be taking place this fall, or will that be next spring?
Well, some of it will be. It would be what they call dormant seed, Wayne, like down in those areas. So, they were waiting, basically, we got last Wednesday is when they finished the topsoil off and stuff like that. So now they'll have to get in there when it dries out and basically get that seeded and fertilized and mulched and stuff. And then, like I said, the signs will go in too. So, I mean, I've been in contact with Jeff, and that's part of our list that has to get done.
Okay. And
So
will
the signs will
there
be up.
be new signage,
There is
explaining
some.
center lane? Okay.
Yep. That stuff will be up.
So I've had some comments from passersby that they're not certain that that's a turn lane. There's not enough arrows in it. So I was just hoping that there'd be some type of a visual as they're entering that this is the way it is. So,
Well, you could plaster it with arrows and you could plaster it with signs. It's still people.
I know, I hear you.
But yes, that's all the arrows down in that area that are going in. So
Okay.
now the new stretch that we just paved on Monday, we do have the center line. There's going to be paint and stuff like that that will get done this year. So we have most of the edge line in and all the center line in. Now it's just a matter of putting other things like channelizing and stuff like that we have to get completed. But he had to get out of here yesterday, but at least we got all that stuff done and it looks good. So, and but there is a little bit of paving that has to happen out on east side. We have a little bit of the intersection that has to get paved. We probably only have about 3 loads of asphalt to put in yet this year. And then the Ford dealership, their driveway, we got to get that graded and paved this year. And we're on the schedule for that for probably late next week to get all the asphalt done. So, but Mother Nature changes things. So, and I'm not saying that it's going to be done next week, but if all of a sudden we get a bunch of rain, forecast looks pretty good for next week. We got rain for today, but next week looks really good. So you can move on a lot of these things next week, so. If we
John,
get
are
it
we-
in order, so.
Are we shouldering all the way, the plans show shaping shoulders where they just pave that whole
Yeah.
stretch, but from what I remember seeing there, there's not enough material to put up. Are we gonna shoulder that whole stretch with new stuff or not, or? is
Well, Tim,
anybody
I haven't looked into it because you haven't decided that you're gonna, I know that we got some shoulder that we have to put in. But I'll have to look at those stuff, and I know there's not a
Yeah,
huge quantity of it, so it's only like a 1 foot shoulder anyway, so.
Yeah.
And we only put on 3/4 of an inch, so.
Well, but. it
And you
was
do have
down-
the item of shaping shoulder, so.
Right, but that's pulling the material that's there up, and that never worked, because to get enough material, I don't know, look at it, I just need to know whether I should bring a shoulder machine down, if we're gonna, redo the whole stretch and make it look good, then I'll bring a shoulder machine. If we're just doing that west end, I can probably just.
Well,
do
like
that with good
I had suggested to you before is, if you brought one of those trucks with the conveyors out the back with the chute, that
Right.
always seemed to work pretty good on a lot of the jobs that I've had where we only had 1 foot shoulders on. So,
If you can get them.
yeah,
Problem is, Matthew, Iverson, Pain and Dawn, they're using them all on their job, so.
yeah. So,
So I'll just look at it and see what, so I know, like,
yeah,
I don't think I can pull anything up without just pulling topsoil and crap up and
yeah.
making it bad, so.
Yep, no, and we definitely don't want to disturb any of that because now all of a sudden you bring in erosion into it again, so.
Right.
I mean, it's only a
Well, something-
3/4 inch overlay and,
Right.
but
But I
some
think
areas
those-
there's more than 3/4 of an inch there, so.
Yeah, well, just look at it and whatever you decide, so I know which way to go.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the miscellaneous and see what they had intended there. I know that they had, like I said, we had a shaping shoulder and stuff, but we may want to. I'm just thinking that we're just gonna have to add in some of those areas like, across from Munoz down there.
Yeah,
On
yeah,
the
we got-
north
yeah,
side where
definitely.
we actually had a widening area.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I'm talking about the other stretch from.
Yeah,
81 going east there, all that along there, some
Yep.
spots there, but see what you think.
okay.
Okay. Okay, Jim?
Yeah, Howard, I don't know if this is the time for me to bring this up. Is this something I can address now?
Go for it.
So I'm Jim Rosemine. I represent 6 businesses just east of the east side intersection with Old Highway 151. Auto parts store, U-Haul, Taco John's, Rosemeyer Chiropractic, A1 New Self Storage, and Rosemeyer Management Group. We don't have a turn lane coming from the west towards Walmart into our main entrance. It's yellow striped. That's a concern because you're taking the traffic beyond our major intersection where there's probably between 500 and 1,000 turns a day into these businesses. You're taking it past that main intersection to the second entrance to the chiropractic clinic, which is their parking lot. So we're driving all the traffic into all these businesses through Rosemeyer Chiropractic parking lot. That is always full, mainly with senior citizens. And it's going to cause, the traffic or the safety issue coming east from the west in the morning with the sun in your eyes, accelerating from that intersection. I've been rear-ended already out there, before we had the turn lanes. So we have all this space to put a turn lane and there's no turn lanes. It's yellow markings. If we start using the yellow markings, because that's what's going to happen, people are going to pull in the yellow markings and turn left into the auto parts store or A1 or to the clinic or whatever. And someone gets rear-ended there. It's a huge safety issue, number one, but number two, who's liable? We're very concerned we have a lot of senior citizens in the clinics. They already have spinal impairment. That's why they're coming. And we would like to have a turn lane there. I think we're over 350 feet from the intersection. We put our entrance a few years back into these businesses far enough away from East Side Road so this wouldn't happen. You know, we moved it at that time. So we're extremely concerned. There's 6 businesses that are affected. There's hundreds of patients, hundreds of cars in and out. We estimate between 500 and 700 turns a day with these businesses. How do we fix this?
I think it's the same condition that we have for other places on Business 151. People will end up using that yellow diagonal stripe area, just like they do for left-hand turns coming westbound from the Water Street intersection and making a left into the Walgreens or up Ellen Street. Westbound people coming from, say, Staley Avenue or the Chamber, turning left into the Dairy Queen, have also had to go across yellow diagonal stripes in order to get into those, you know, make a left into those businesses as well. I think that this transition is what is needed if we start pulling that center left turn lane back closer to East Side Road. We're going to end up having to widen that out a little bit because of that transition and push cars even farther out. The other, you know, so I think it'll work as is, and I think people will turn in that yellow diagonal stripe like they do for Walgreens or Ellen Street or the DQ, and quite honestly, I think it'll be fine.
Howard, I can't accept that. I mean, you just named some situations that are possibly potential accident points, and you're saying just going to make another one. And there's enough blacktop, there's enough asphalt going south to north to widen that spot to restripe it. And there's enough distance when you get past East Side Road and go east. There's enough distance after you get past the turn lane going the other way to have another turn lane moving in. I mean, there's got to be 6 or 7 car lengths there. It's 350 feet. I don't buy that. And I think we're just creating another potential. We're trying to improve safety, for crying out loud, not make it worse. And you're just listing off things where there's already problems and you're just going to add another one. Why can't we fix it? Why can't we find a way to fix it instead of just find a way to let it go?
And can I just share, I patronize Rosemeyer Chiropractic, and I brought this to Dr. Dan's attention last week when I went for an appointment. I did not feel comfortable going in that yellow crossed area. I felt like I was violating road usage. And so I went in the back lot, turn in, and came forward. Well, I hope that you're not going to get a lot of Advanced Auto Parts people circling through your lot like that. That's not a welcome thing. So I know from my firsthand experience what Jim's talking about. So it's confusing.
And that second entrance is on a hill. So, I mean, when you're pulling out of that second entrance, it's a little bit of a risk anyway. So I would like to see something done, and I appreciate that, Wayne. And I think I could have 500 patients, 1,000 patients write letters or whatever you want to hear, because they're all going to feel the same way. And it's a problem. And I don't see why, I would like you to address it and not just blow it off, Howard.
Okay. I will discuss this with John and with the DOT folks, and we'll go from there. I'm not sure whether we'll be able to get it done before spring, but we'll look at it and see what we can do here. And
Thank
we'll
you.
get you an answer for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Aaron, you were on here. I don't think we've asked you for any comments. Do you have any comments or questions?
No comments. I just was interested with, since we're located right here on 151, I was just curious kind of for an update and how things were going and just here for information.
Okay. Hopefully the folks heading westbound, turning left to get to your business, they're finding that a little bit easier with that turn lane and the arrows there, I hope.
I would hope so too. That used to be a pretty dangerous intersection when you were trying to make that left-hand turn. So hopefully with the arrows and the widening of those lanes, that's gotten better.
Okay, thanks. Adam, did you have anything further before? Okay. Okay, thank you. We will continue to work on all of this. I will work with John and the DOT as we discussed regarding East Side Road and the center turn lane, and we'll go from there. Does anyone have any last thoughts or questions or concerns before we end this? We've been recording this. My intention is to have this available on the city's website for anyone who was unable to be on here so that they could also view this. Okay, unless there's anything else. Thank you for attending. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay.